Time now to take an in-depth look at what's making news this morning, and we're joined by doctor and infectious diseases expert Linny Fwong. Good morning, Linny. How are you?
Good, thank you.
The first topic that you've chosen for us, the story, is from The Age, and this is about cohealth closures, which is taking place in Melbourne. Can you explain this story for us?
Yeah, that's right. So essentially what is happening is cohealth, firstly, is one of Australia's largest community health providers, and in December this year they have decided that they need to close 3 of their GP clinics, so Kensington, Collingwood and Fitzroy, and this has a huge impact in that there are 29 GPs who are currently employed at these 3 sites, and over 12,000 clients are being serviced, and these are individuals who come from quite disadvantaged backgrounds, so homelessness, refugees, people seeking sort of mental health treatment, drug and alcohol services. So really we are kind of seeing a huge disadvantage placed on these particular communities who won't be able to access this regular care anymore. I think the concern here is that obviously Medicare really hasn't kept up with the rates for GP billing, and particularly because this is a very heavily GP billing sort of model, it means that cohealth is essentially at a $4 million shortfall unless federal government steps in to sort of save these services. I think that what concerns me about this particular story is that it's just a symptom of what's going on in terms of primary health care. We know that primary health care is the backbone really of our healthcare system. If these individuals aren't able to seek help within these affordable and accessible healthcare services, it means that they're more likely to present to emergency departments, so there's that flow-on effect in public hospitals, and or they will delay seeking care. And I think this is just kind of one of many of the problems that we're seeing in the healthcare system at the moment, and our public health services are so stretched and overburdened already. So I think, one, it's an equity piece, but 2, it's also kind of a bigger symptom of the problem that's going on in Australia.
Well, let's stay on this topic and tell us about dental deserts. That doesn't sound good. People have got to drive a really long way to get a checkup.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a commissioned report by the New South Wales Council of Social Services, and essentially what it found was that in some areas of regional New South Wales, people are driving up to 300 kilometres to seek dental care. And so I think, people kind of underestimate what oral health and dental care actually means.
We should emphasise that, right?
Yes.
It's not about just having a nice set of teeth.
No.
It's like not having infections, which then have other effects.
Exactly, chronic medical conditions. I'm glad you guys get it. But yeah, no, I think it has a really big flow-on effect. And in terms of those people who are at most at risk, we find that children under 9 are at particular risk in terms of tooth decay and dental caries. The other thing that the report found was that New South Wales the public and private systems are outlaying about $147 million per year for hospitalised dental care, which is a lot, and it's increasing by 3% every year. So I think, there's a few problems here. Obviously, workforce shortages in terms of dentistry in these regional areas, but also we're in Australia and it's kind of modern day, and you sort of think...
Well, so just a question without notice on this.
Yes.
You can get little cameras, you can get them anywhere you want, and a lot of people can stick them in people's mouths. Is there like a way to do screening to more remote places, things like that, so that you can then go, right, you definitely need a proper checkup. You're looking pretty good for the moment.
I mean, maybe that's something that you can, that's your little side giggle.
That can be like side.
That's your little
My grandfather was a dentist. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yes. Definitely some work to be done in these areas.
On a serious note, I was really shocked with this story, the first line saying that dental conditions are the leading cause of preventable hospitalisation in New South Wales.
Exactly. And that's that's a New South Wales report. I'm sure it's worse in some other areas within Australia.
This final story is a topic close to our heart. Now, most people out there this morning, we build the context, have a little sleep tracker on their wrist, and they then think, oh, I've had a good sleep, a bad sleep. How accurate are they, and how much does it actually matter? I personally feel better not having the tracker on anymore.
I don't have one, for that reason, because I don't want to feel even worse.
Well, that's so funny, because this particular article talks about a growing phenomenon called orthosomnia. So orthosomnia is the obsession of having that data in terms of the sleep trackers and the other gadgets, which makes you feel worse about your sleep. And so this article is really quite a nice one. And it starts off with a couple waking up in the morning and asking, how did you sleep last night? And instead of saying, how did I feel, they go and check their device and they look at the coloured bar graphs. And
interesting.
Yes. So back to your question, James, about whether or not they're accurate. They essentially track movement, heart rate and temperature. So they are a proxy. And if you were to go in for a formal sleep study, we'd be measuring brain waves, not all of those things. So I think the message out of this is really not to look at your sleep score, not to think about, you know, what it says on your watch, but actually how you feel, as opposed to, you know.
I mean, we are obsessed with talking about sleep and lack thereof on this show. What a surprise.
That's fair.
But it's also one of those things, you know, when they say when you wake up, don't look at your clock if you wake up during the night, because then it will make you feel anxious.
It makes you more anxious.
But I actually find sometimes it's the opposite, because I then realise, oh no, I have actually slept, as opposed to feel like I've tossed and turned throughout the entire night and not slept at all.
Yeah.
A bit of both.
I took mine off because I would have a couple of bad nights in a row and then I'd get stressed about getting a good night's sleep. You know,
that's
this is
exactly
ridiculous. To appease Apple, of all things. You probably shouldn't use the brand name. There are plenty of brands of different sleep trackers.
There are plenty of brands, that's right.
Thank you very much, Lenny. We always appreciate your analysis and insights.
Lenny.
All right.